Hey guys, it's down for good with the 2016 Blu-ray Collection. Um, I don't have super a lot, but I tried to make this video already, and it went into like two parts. It was over like an hour and a half, and it uploaded. There's an issue uploading the video, so I just kind of restacked them all up, and I'm gonna make this a little bit quicker. I'm gonna try to make this like 20, 30 minutes, just because it was just way too long, and I was just talking about every individual Blu-ray. So I'm just gonna pretty much do what I did with the VHS collection, and just pretty much say if I liked it or not. Make it very simple. And then for a couple of them, maybe like a handful of them, I'll actually have a little thing to say about them. But for the most part, I'm just gonna say, oh, I liked it, didn't like it, and I'm gonna show you the cover too. So let's get this started. Also, you guys said how the camera is shaky. I'm gonna try to fix that, but for the most part, just kind of bear with me because I tried it just on a stand. And it was just kind of like this, and it was just sitting like this the whole time. And it was just like you could barely see. I mean, it was zoomed back like it was like right here, but it was just so boring. I didn't like how it was. I kind of like the liveliness, if that makes sense. So, anyways, let's start this off. Let's start with this side. Got The Revenant. It's a great movie. I love it. Can't go wrong. I thought it was a kind of like I don't know if I'd say classic, but it's definitely very entertaining. It's one of those Ghana Oscar movies where they get a bunch of awards and stuff like that. And you can see why. Leonardo DiCaprio, it's crazy how he filmed that. Tom Hardy's in this. They're both amazing. I haven't opened it yet, but I've seen it before, so check that out. And we got the Avengers, first Avengers, which I thought it was great. I mean, I like comic book movies. Of course, there's gonna be some flaws. It's not like they're like, they're not No Country for Old Men or anything, but they're still great movies. I highly enjoy, and I would recommend, just because they're fun action pieces. They're nothing crazy. And what I have right here is, the first Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Civil War. And to me, Civil War is kind of an Avengers movie, even though there's not the Hulk and Thor, but there's pretty much they're all there for the most part. I like Civil War. It's probably my favorite Marvel movie right now. Between that and Guardians of the Galaxy, which I loved, and actually I really liked what's it called? Wow, I can't believe I'm forgetting. But Doctor Strange, I really liked that as well. That was a great movie in my taste. For my taste, I like that kind of like Third Eye type stuff. Next, we got a classic Quentin Tarantino movie, Pulp Fiction. If you haven't seen it, you definitely got to see it. It's great. Another thing to say about this is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie of all time is probably either Pulp Fiction or what I got right here, The Hateful Eight, which if you haven't seen neither of them, you should definitely check both of them out. They're great films. Love Hateful Eight and love Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction's more of a classic, though. Hateful Eight, just because, I don't know, it's like a 90s, it's older, Pulp Fiction's older movies, came out in the 90s, and it just, the way it was made, like how it was filmed was just so kind of like how the pacing is, because it's like a Pulp Fiction. If you know what I'm talking about, you've seen it, but it's just so cool how it's paced. That's really big, great movie of mine. I love. Next, L.A. Confidential, great detective kind of story about L.A. and just entertaining kind of story. Honestly, is all I really got to say about it. I don't want to say too much about this stuff, or it's gonna go on for like 3 hours, like it was before. Next guy follows. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite because it was a new kind of horror movie that I really had a good time with, and a lot of people didn't agree with me just because they're like, "Oh, it was overhyped like crazy." And honestly, I could see that. I could see it being overhyped. But for me, all that happened was my friend saw it and he's like, "Oh, you should see it. Look, you probably like it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I saw it. I thought it was really good. I didn't really look in too much into it. Like, oh, like there's flaws here and there's blah blah blah. Like all this stuff was wrong with it. Like I didn't really think about it that much. Just had a good time in the theater, and I just thought it was a fun little horror movie. So I liked it, and I got it for like $8, I think. I mean, most of the Blu-rays here I got it. I got on Black Friday because I have this like tradition where every Black Friday I just get Blu-rays, like literally nothing else, just Blu-rays. And even in general, like I'll always get a Blu-ray now and again if it's cheap. But it's very rare to actually buy a Blu-ray like that's new. That's like $20 because that's how much they usually are. So yeah. Next we got Expendables, and I have a lot to say about this. Originally about the director's cut, because I was like, oh, director's cut. That's not the. I mean, that's quite the same thing, right? Just a couple more scenes or something like that. And no, the director. I think it was. I think Stallone was the director. He just completely changed the movie. The tone was just so different. It was like you're watching a completely different movie, like a love. I don't even know. It was so long since I've seen it, but I just remember being like, "What the hell is this?" It was completely different, and nothing like the badass, 80s reminiscing action kind of movie. So, if you've seen, if you've seen this and you liked it, don't get the director's cut. I guess director's cut sucks. Next, classic David Fincher movie, Fight Club. Not much to say about this. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Next were the Millers. Fun little comedy I liked. It's nothing special. Just a mindless kind of fun in my opinion. I love Jason Sudeikis, so that's kind of why I got it. And I really loved him in Horrible Bosses, and that's like Jason Sudeikis, Charlie Day, and the other guy. I forgot his name. Hold on, let me grab the. I have the case right here because I love Horrible Bosses. Another movie on my list. And Jason Bateman. I love those three casted. Like from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You know, I don't know where he's from. I think it's like SNL stuff like that. And Jason Bateman's in a lot of things. I mean, he was in a Twilight Zone episode, believe it or not, the newer version of Twilight Zone, not the old, not the '50s one, but another great Blu-ray I love is Horrible Bosses. Which I mean, most of the comedies I have are just not anything special, but I don't know. I really liked Horrible Bosses. Just when it came out for me, it was just a great movie, in my opinion. Next, we got a classic, Shutter Island. Great, suspenseful, kind of. I wouldn't say horror because it's not really. I mean, I guess you could kind of say that, but it's really more just a suspenseful kind of thing. But it's a great movie. Loved it. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. Next, we got Deliver Us from Evil. I thought it was a great horror movie, kind of like mixed with exorcism and it's funny thing about this movie that actually I wanted to say is that this movie reminds me so much of this game called Condemned Criminal Origins. Like when I watched this movie, it reminded me so much of that game, and then I put the game in and I was like, wow, this is like playing the movie. And it's a weird thing to say because this movie has nothing to do with the game. They're completely different storylines, but it's just the feel of that game. It's as if like the director played that game and then was like, I should make a movie about it. But I mean, this is like years later though. But I'm just telling you, if you play that game and you've seen the movie, you might know what I'm talking about. But maybe it's just me. But I'm just saying that like it was so weird. It was like it just completely felt like the director just like played that game or something and was like, hey, let's make a movie. Next we got Pain and Gain. Now, I'll have to say something about this because it's Michael Bay. Everyone hates him. I don't really see why. I don't think it's like everyone. I saw reviews for this movie giving it like a 0 out of 10. It's like, okay, the lighting was good, cinematography was good. I like the way they did the camera angles. A lot of them. The storyline was like based on true story. It's very entertaining. It's crazy what they're doing. Like I don't get why everyone hates him so much. I don't think he's like the worst thing ever because there is so much worse stuff out there. Believe me. I mean, there's Fred. Have you seen that movie? Let's go. If you tell me Pain and Gain's the worst thing, I don't think you've seen Fred. Then we'll change your freaking aspects in life, okay? So I thought it was a fun movie. Nothing like crazy. I'm not saying it's the best movie of all time. Like, oh man, Pain is good. I thought it was entertaining, but I can watch it now and again if I want because it's just crazy what they did and it's based off the true story and everything. But man, stop saying that Michael Bay's the worst thing ever. Just because he's not, there is so much worse stuff out there, let me tell you. And you don't even want to see this kind of type of bad stuff I've seen. Next, we had a comedy that, well, not a lot of people that I knew like, but other guys, I really liked it. I'd say check it out, but a lot of people I've shown it didn't like it as much as I thought they would, and they like not regular, they like other comedies like The Millers and stuff like that, where they're just not, I don't know, some of the other guys, it's very different, from my opinion. Not a comedy that a lot of people I showed liked compared to the other comedies I have. And I have very general comedies. So next we had The Gift, great suspenseful kind of mystery movie. Great movie. Nothing much to say about that. As Above, So Below. I thought it was a fun horror movie. It definitely has a lot of flaws, but something about it just clicked with me, and I just really am entertained by it. And I've seen this like 10 times, which is just such. And like, if I think about it, it's kind of a crazy thing to say objectively, just because it's nothing special. It's like a cheap. I think it was like a Paramount. It's just like a Universal cheap movie that I'm pretty sure they bought the rights to. I'm guessing it's I mean, I don't know if it's an independent movie that they bought the rights to, but I kind of feel like that's what it is because it feels like that. But it's not even that, even because it's still great quality of a movie. It's not like it's a dirty movie, but it's just kind of like that found footage kind of thing where it's just like you're not sure. But even if it's independent or not, I just had a good time with it, and I can't really fault it. What's wrong with that? I had a good time, Something about it, I just liked it. Next, got The Haunting in Connecticut. I thought it was pretty good. Nice. I don't like it as much as I used to when I first saw it. When I first saw it, it scared the crap out of me. Now it's not really that scary. Maybe because I've become immune to scary movies. I don't really get scared that much. It's pretty rare that you'd see me get scared in movies. So I thought it was okay. Fortunately, I would say this is a classic horror movie, kind of / mystery, maybe thriller in there. Great movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Next, got The Forest. This is kind of the same thing as Above, So Below. My thoughts were just like, I had a good time, thought it was fun, and not a lot of people thought the same. But, if you're into horror movies, I'd say, check it out. It wasn't a bad thing. Next, I think there's another David Fincher. Yeah, Social Network. That's David Fincher, right? Yep, David Fincher. I love David Fincher as a director. The only thing I didn't really like that he directed was Alien 3, which I might get a lot of hate for, but just that setup of them being in prison, or of her being in like a prison like planet and all that stuff. It was just like I didn't really care. And I mean, after Alien and Aliens being like so perfect, it couldn't really. There's nothing you could have done that would have made it so like as good as the other ones. So it kind of ruined the movie for me, I guess. But I still liked it though. Don't get me wrong. Next, got the Family Guy. Laugh it up, fuzzball. Laugh it up, fuzzball. I know exactly what scenes that's from. I'm not a big fan of Family Guys. I used to be when I was younger. It's okay. I mean, it's just like some jokes about the original trilogy. Nothing special. I probably wouldn't. I don't know if I could recommend that nowadays because I'm such a smart critic. Like I'm so. Nah, I'm just joking. It's okay. I don't want to act like that asshole critic that thinks he's better than everybody else because he watches a lot of movies or whatever and has great taste. Next, got Inception. Great movie. I will say about this: every Christopher Nolan film that I've seen, except for Batman Begins, for the Blu-rays wise, has a second Blu-ray bonus disc, and I always love getting his movies with that because there's a great documentary on this one, and every single other one he has, like I was just saying, always has great bonus features on them. Kind of like, which I'm just gonna blow this out of the way right now, might as well. Interstellar, that's probably one of my top. Actually, both of these might be in my top 25 favorite movies of all time. I love them both. They both have cool bonus discs with very entertaining, interesting, kind of like documentaries and just bonus features in general. So definitely check those out. You gotta check those out. Next, might as well get through with it. We got the Terminator 1 and 2. These are the only ones I really liked. I didn't like Terminator 3 or like the whole weird. I mean, there was so many. What was it? Terminator 3? I think there was a Terminator 4. Either it was that or it was the one with Christian Bale. I think it was like Terminator Salvation or something like that. I didn't see that. Saw Terminator 3. I thought it was okay. I wouldn't buy it honestly, just because I just like the first and second. And there's not really much to say about that. I thought these were like my favorite. I think Terminator 2 is like the best sequel ever made, almost. That and Aliens, because I mean, James Cameron knows how to make sequels. Let's just say that. So if there's ever Titanic 2 and he directs it, it's going to be great. So it's an interesting tidbit. A little weird thing. Next, we got Clash of Titans. This is one of those Blu-ray purchases I bought years ago, and I haven't seen it since I bought it, and I don't know if it's good or not. I'm probably going to say it's not, just because of all the reviews I've seen. But hey, you never know. So don't check that out. But if you ever do and you liked it, just put a comment there, be like, hey, it was actually pretty good. But I kind of doubt that because I've not seen good reviews. Next, I Am Legend, of course, has the alternate ending, which is like what it should have ended with. But good movie. I love that. It's really entertaining. Next up, classic Harry Potter and the Chamber of... Wait. Oh, this is Sorcerer's Stone. That's weird. I thought it was the Chamber of Secrets because my favorite is the Chamber of Secrets, not Sorcerer's Stone. But you know what? I guess I didn't realize I got the one I didn't... I mean, I like the first one. That's still a good one, of course, because it's like the first. It's kind of a classic, but... I'll move this. But just a little interesting fact. My favorite is the Chamber of Secrets. Love that one. Next, we got Mindless Fun, Percy Jackson, Olympic Thief. I don't know. I got this really cheap when it came out. I don't know if I like it as much as I used to when I was like younger, but it's not like the worst thing ever. You know, it's definitely better than Fred. And I'm going to say that again. I'm not going to say that again. We're not going to talk about Fred ever again in my life. Please I pretend I didn't mention it. Jesus Christ. Next, we got Lincoln. Daniel Day-Lewis is amazing. Anything Daniel Day-Lewis does, I usually like. He's very entertaining to watch. It's just him as an actor and what he does. And I really like the Lincoln's kind of story. It's entertaining in my opinion. Next, we got Pirates of the Caribbean, Crystal Black Pearl. I don't know if this is my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean, but I really like this one. I think this was like the first, if I remember, Disney PG-13 movie. And I think that was like a big deal at the time for some people, I guess, because they were like, oh, we gotta see it. And I was like, okay, and I watched it. I mean, this was like 2004, and I just really liked it because it was like just, pirates and stuff. I love pirates. Gotta love some pirates. Love me some pirates. But I mean, if you haven't seen this, come on. This is like, I'd say it's a Disney classic for sure, because with speaking about Disney, they don't really make movies like this. Well, they do now, but like back then they didn't. So it's definitely a cool little piece. Next, we got Perks of Being a Wallflower. I thought it was a good movie. Honestly, I probably wouldn't buy it on Blu-ray if I saw it. But the thing is, the reason why I have it is because my sister bought it for me to watch because she really liked it. I thought it was a good movie, but it's not really kind of my kind of taste of buying on Blu-ray. But it's still good. I mean, I don't know if I could recommend it to certain people because it's like a chick flick, which a lot of people that I know that watch movies are into more of like Deadpool kind of things or like The Hurt Locker, just kind of like manly movies, I guess. They don't really like these like book movies books that turn into movies, especially when it's like, I don't know, more. I mean, it's just a chick flick kind of thing. That, I guess is what I'm saying. Which I have nothing wrong with that. I love a lot of those type of movies, but it's hard to recommend that to certain people, in my opinion. But I mean, I'd still probably. It was a pretty good movie. It was pretty entertaining for sure. Very, very, very good. Or it was okay, whatever. Next, Contact is like on the level of Interstellar good, in my opinion. I really loved it. There's a cool shot in the beginning where she's looking in a mirror. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's great. Check that out. It's good. Gravity, loved it when it came out. I love the sound design. Not as much as Interstellar, probably, because man, Interstellar, that part where the thing blows up, it's like, what? That shit, it's like a literal jump scare. Anyways, that's a great movie. Next, we got 2001: Space Odyssey. Great movie. Stanley Kubrick's great. Super long, or feels super long. So I don't know if I could recommend this to anybody that's my age, just because this came out in the late 60s or the early 60s. I don't remember. 1960. I can't find it in the back. I hate that. I wish the year of the movie was like more obvious in the back of the case. Oh, whoops! I'm not even looking at the camera this whole time. It's whatever. Anyways, I thought it was great, but it's gonna be kind of hard to recommend because it's still so long. But it's great. Next, we got The Nice Guys, Private Dicks. It's great. I like this movie. Now, I don't think I could recommend this to a lot of people. And it's not that it's bad. I thought it was great, but it's kind of that kind of movie where it's just like very reminded me of L.A. Confidential that I just showed a couple minutes ago. Well, I mean, they had the same actor, Russell Crowe, and Kim Basinger and everything. But other than that, like, just the story-wise, I thought it was entertaining. Definitely could recommend it, but there's something about it where it's just like, it's not a mainstream type of movie. I mean, Shane Black, the same guy who directed Iron Man 3, and that's not really saying much, even though, in my opinion, Iron Man 3 is the best one. Well, that's just my opinion, but I like the third one the best one. I'm probably going to piss some people off out there. Cabin in the Woods, great horror movie, where it's like, oh, you thought this is not what you think is, what you not get. I'm trying to sound like clever, but pretty much it's like, if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. It's not what you think it is. It's great. Chainsaw Massacre, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a great classic movie. It's like the 40th year anniversary, a 4K digital restoration. I'm not sure if that's true because it's not an actual 4K Blu-ray, but hey, it says it on there, so I'm gonna deal with it. But that's a great movie. Sorority Row, this movie's terrible, but it's funny. There's like a commentary track on it, and it's just a video. It's not even like, it's the first time I've ever seen an actual video commentary track on a Blu-ray, and it's just so funny. Like, it's the cast and the director, I think. And they're just like making jokes. They're like, "Wow, this movie is you did a good job." Like, they're just telling that to the director like every minute, and they're not even like really paying attention. They're just like talking. I don't know. I wouldn't say they're talking like crap on each other, but I feel like it's very like, they're definitely saying something, but it's not like they're saying it nicely. Like, they're not trying to be too mean. Like, it's hard to explain. You'd have to check it out. It's, I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't recommend. It's not a good horror movie, but it's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just like, wow. Well, this shot was really good. You should have gotten an award for this movie. Like, just stuff like that, where it's just like kind of underhanded, but it's funny. Next, Sinister, great little Blumhouse horror movie. Lucy, I really like this movie. Not a lot of people did. I don't know why they didn't like it so much. I think it was because they were like, what I heard was like, oh, you can't, if you access 100% of your brain, you would die or whatever. And it's like, no, it's a movie. Like, don't take it so seriously. Of course, you probably, if you could, you probably get like a spaz attack or whatever. Kind of doubt you could, control time and everything, but I mean, it's freaking fiction. Like, shut up. I thought just enjoy it if you can. Django Unchained, another great Quentin Tarantino movie. Check it out. Defiance, a sad World War II movie about Jews in the forest because they're not trying to get caught up in the entrapment camps, or what is it called? Concentration camps. There we go. This movie's crazy. It's so sad. Like, so messed up. What I'm like kind of ashamed to like be a part of the human race after what the Nazis did as humans. Like, how could you? I don't think they were humans. Honestly, they're like robots. What the fuck? They did some messed up stuff to Jewish people back then. That's just so not cool. And I know this is obviously like beating a dead bush, but it's just like, what the hell's wrong with humans? Drive, great movie. I really like what's it called? Neon Demon by the same director. I'm probably gonna have this on my next year Blu-ray list, but yeah. Next we got Conjuring 1 and 2. I like both of them. Like the second one a little bit better. They're both great movies. I'm gonna try to speed this up. We're at 20 minutes. Got Deadpool. I love Deadpool. I thought it was a great, funny movie. However, I have like a problem with it really, and it's because I watched it like 4 times, and for some reason now it's kind of boring to me. But it's still a great movie. I could still recommend it for sure, easily. Next, This Is the End. Great comedy. I loved it. Hurt Locker, great kind of war movie. What was it? Like an Iraq kind of war, I think it was. So it's like a 2007, but it's a great movie. I mean, it won those Best Picture Academy Awards for a reason. Let me say that. Yeah, Office Space, funny, classic comedy with Mike Judge, who did Beavis and Butthead, which I have the Blu-ray of the new edition. I'll get to that obviously. Tropic Thunder, it's a great kind of like not commentary, but like I just love this movie because it's just like, I mean, if you see, what I'm talking about, the plot wise, but I just loved it how they're making a movie in the jungle about like a war movie, and they're all like a bunch of like fuck ups, and they're pretty much a bunch of idiots and full of themselves, and it's just hilarious. Got the Predator triple pack. I got this, and this thing is so cool because it was like $8, and it's literally all 3 movies. And I mean, all you need is just Predator and Predators, but Predator 2 was entertaining. I don't like Predator 2 at the end of the day. I thought it could have been done way better, but I might watch it maybe because it's so like violent and just graphic, and I love that. But not like a Saw. I don't like Saw type of movies because not that kind of violent graphic. More like a cheesy violent graphic. And then I actually got this because Predators is one of my favorite Predator kind of movie. Well, I mean, there's only 3 to choose from, like I just showed you, so it doesn't really matter. But it's funny, like this, I can't really show you because I don't want to open that up. But the discs is exactly the same as that one. So I wish I just bought this instead of buying that. But I mean, it was years later, so can't really change that. But great movie. Prometheus got a lot of hate, but I thought it was great. That rhymed. Oh shit, are we rapping now? Normally I wouldn't have got this movie, but because I didn't like it that much. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was Alien good, obviously. But the reason why I got this is because it was so cheap, and it was a collector's edition. I got it for it was like $12, and I was like, what, $12? And this was like years ago, like 2012, like. And I was really into like the lore of just Alien. I was like, oh, all these bonus features, gotta check it out. And I don't think I've ever checked it out yet, and I probably never will. But hey, it's 3D. The 3D version, that's pretty cool for collector's edition. There Will Be Blood, great Daniel Day-Lewis movie. However, of course, I'm gonna have to say, obviously, another Blu-ray that I should have, but definitely gonna have next year, is No Country for Old Men, which they're both different movies. They're both based on books. They're even different directors, but everyone always brings that other movie up because they were both filmed by the same company. And actually, at the same time, it's funny. There was like a little trivia about the No Country for Old Men, where, when they were filming this, when they did this scene, when like the smoke was in the air, they couldn't film No Country for Old Men, like a certain scene during the day, because there was like smoke in the air or something like that. And I thought that was cool. But yeah, but There Will Be Blood's great, and also No Country for Old Men's a little better. I like it a lot better, but they're both great. Mad Max Fury Road, amazing. I loved it. Thought it was just a pure adrenaline rush. Awesome. Check it out. Another David Fincher movie, Zodiac. It's probably one of my favorite, probably my top 25 favorite movies of all time as well. Just because it's a type of movie where I can put on anytime, and I've always been entertained by it, even though I've seen it like 10 times, and even though it's like 3 hours long, because it's like the director's cut, like 2 hours and a half. Or is this director's cut? Yeah, director's cut. Hold on, does it say me how long? I don't like the case too. It's really cool. It's like the letter. Next, Donnie Darko, classic movie. I love this movie. I always watch this when it's Halloween, just to get in the Halloween spirit. Even though it's not really, I wouldn't say it's a horror movie. It's just like it's a strange movie because it's hard to specify the genre. But I mean, it's not. I don't want to say it's like strange because it's a great movie. Next, The Hangover. I don't really like old school that much. I love The Hangover. The Hangover is the perfect, like, safe. The Hangover, in my opinion, is like the safest movie where you can put that on and anybody will like it. Like, no one has a problem with that movie. There's nothing offensive about it. It's just very safe, and everyone likes it. Hangover Part 2, I really liked it, even though it's just a rehash of the first one. I don't know, I liked it. I had a fun time with it. Gone Girl, another David Fincher classic. Oh, this is David Fincher, wasn't it? Yeah, classic. I really love David Fincher, if you couldn't tell already. Next, we got Halloween 35th Anniversary Edition. I mean, Halloween's a great classic horror movie. Can't go wrong with that. Nothing much else to say. Oh, it's 23 minutes. Not that bad. Man, I was like an hour. It was an hour long. I didn't even get through this much. So, yeah. Trying to speed this up. Do this one. Bourne Legacy. This is probably one of my favorite Bourne movies out of the whole list, just because I don't really like the original one that much. I did like them, but for some reason, I don't know, the Bourne Legacy just really stuck out to me, and I just really like this one. Definitely check that out. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Every single Indiana Jones movie is great. I should have had the anthology by now, but I haven't got it yet. It's a great movie. Can't go wrong. Check it out. And also, just to say, I did like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I can see a lot of hate for it, but, I mean, come on. Like, literally in this movie, there were so many things, like, because most of the people that hated it, in my opinion, that I heard, were like, oh, the gopher in the beginning is CG. And it's like, dude, there was so much stuff in it. In this one that I forgot, like, I had in my mind that looked terrible, but people never talked about. Kind of like, for, like, just off the top of my head, there's more than this. But I remember that guy in the beginning when he gets stabbed by, like, the thing that comes out the wall. He looks so fake, and it's like, might as well have done, I don't want to say that, actually. I don't want to say they should have done CG, because I'm not a big person to advocate CG. But I mean, I don't know. I just wanted to say, like, if you've seen the original trilogy, which I think I have it on VHS right here. Oh, it's so dark in here. If you've seen the original trilogy, they're not like, they're great. Every single one of them is great, and I love them. But like, they're not like, I don't know. They're not like it's not like that. I didn't think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was like a bad thing to go up against it. I thought that was I thought it was a very entertaining movie, and I love aliens and stuff like that. But whatever, hate me. Don't hate the player, hate the game, son. Next we got Sky Captain in the World Tomorrow. I haven't seen this since I got it, and I got it because I loved it as a kid. And I remember when I bought it on Blu-ray after I seen it as a kid, like in theaters. I was like, I don't know why I love this. And like halfway through, I just never finished it. And I still haven't finished it. And I've had this. This is like one of my first Blu-rays of all time. And that's enough of that. I don't know if I can recommend that. I still haven't seen it. Next, I had a great trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy by Christopher Nolan. I'm just going to say this is my favorite, second favorite, and third favorite. A lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people think that this is the best one. But I don't know. I really love Dark Knight Rises so much. You know, I loved Bane and just everything about it. And Christopher Nolan, directed. You can't go wrong with that. Great trilogy, for sure. Next, we got kind of in that DC thing, Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Now, let me just say real quick, because there's a lot of stuff about these movies that are being said, especially now, but pretty much I didn't really like this movie. I don't know why I got it. I think it was just in that hype, and I love Suicide Squad. Just keep it simple. There was a lot of problems with this movie. There were some problems with this movie, but in my opinion, I kind of looked past them, and I was just so into like the artwork of it, that little Hot Topic look that people say. I don't know. I really like that kind of art direction they were going in. I really liked the way it was directed by David Ayer, and I just thought it was a great movie. And most people, the reasons why a lot of people didn't like it, I kind of looked past and didn't really care. So I loved it. I think this is probably, honestly, one of my favorite action, kind of like comic book type of movies. Of course, I'm not going to say it's better than, Dark Knight trilogy, because come on, you can't. That's like, shut up. Like, of course it has problems, but I thought it was amazing. I loved it. Whatever. And this one has a lot of problems, but I liked a lot of the sequences, and I think that's probably why I got it. Like, I like when Batman's in the warehouse and he's beating all those bad guys up, and how they actually fight, even when they fight for the dumbest reason. So I got this because the sequences I thought were really cool, but Suicide Squad I just liked as a whole, and the way it was like just made, it was just so strange. Like, I kind of like that, even though that it was edited by a crew who edits trailers, which I don't like that. I still thought it was a great movie. Like, I was like, you know what? Even though these aren't regular editors, they're just trailer editors, they just did something, like, it's just different. And I just like that. And not a lot of people like that, so there you go. Next, I had the Back to the Future trilogy and Blu-ray. Loved it. Can't go wrong. Back to the Future. Feel like classic movies right there. Oh, I guess I could say favorite is this. The favorite, for me, it goes second, 1, and 3. And it's funny. It's the same thing for the Star Wars trilogy right here. I only have on VHS because the Blu-ray, I don't want to, because I don't really have a Blu-ray, but for me, for some reason, it's funny. I really only liked, or no, not only liked, the way my favorite goes is, Empire Strikes Back, the first one, the third one. Third one's the worst. First one, it's funny. Literally, in this movie, which is great, they say it perfectly. Either this one, or it might have been X-Men Apocalypse. I don't remember which one, but one of the characters is like, I think they're just walking out of the Return of the Jedi in the theaters. I'm like, yeah, third one's not as good as the rest. Second one's the best, and the first one's great. And the guy's like, but I mean, you wouldn't have all of them with if you didn't have the first one. He's like, yeah, and it's like, there you go. It's the best way to sum it up. The second one is the best. Third one's the worst, and the first one's great. And of course, without the first one, we wouldn't have any of them. So you gotta respect the first one, I guess, is what they were kind of saying. I was like, wow, you can't go. That's like the best. That's the best like analogy, because I love that. I love that analogy. So yeah, Days of Future Past is great. I would have Apocalypse, but I didn't get it at the time. I wish I got it, because I didn't see it yet at the time. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I should get it, because it was like $8 on Blu-ray, which is still pretty cheap. But I don't really like buying movies if I haven't seen them yet. And at the time, I didn't like X-Men, but now I really like Days of Future Past. I really like First Class, and then I like Apocalypse. So yeah. Next, we got Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Great kind of acid trip of a movie. I mean, if you haven't seen that, you gotta check that out. It was a classic right there. Next, we got Silence of the Lamb. Great, another classic. Hannibal Lecter, Next, Superbad. I'm gonna try to speed this up a lot more. Superbad, great comedy. I used to watch this a bunch of times when I was a kid. Probably in the hundreds, literally. I don't know why. This is like one of my favorite movies when I was in 7th grade. Next, we got Seven. What's in the Box? Great classic. Check it out if you haven't seen it. I think this is David Fincher too. Yep, it is. Man, I love David Fincher so much. Except for Alien 3, like I was just saying, which is right there. I still have it, Now You See Me. I thought this was a good movie, and then I bought it and I watched it, and I was like, "What is wrong with this?" But then I realized I was watching the extended edition. It's like 20 minutes of extra, like non-needed stuff, which is another whole other lit discussion of how I don't like extended cuts unless it's like a 5 minute thing, kind of like in Superbad, or like where it's not much of a difference. But like with this movie, I thought it was a good movie, but with that extended cut, it ruined it kind of. But still, I thought it was great just regularly. And the funny thing about that, I really wanted to bring that up, is because if you ever see that, or another huge one I always talk about, Apocalypse Now, check out the theatrical version first, because the extended cut for that movie, and I feel like in general most extended cuts, except for like Suicide Squad, because that didn't really do anything, it was only like 10 more minutes, but I would always say check out the theatrical first, just because my friend watched the Redux cut of Apocalypse Now, and by the way, I think Apocalypse Now is like probably one of my favorite. No, it's my favorite war movie of all time by far. And that movie, just how it got made was just insane. There's like a documentary about how it was made. There were so many problems and like budgeting and just so many. I mean, not Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen. I think that's his name. Yeah, it's Martin Sheen. I don't care if I got it wrong. He got a heart attack on set and stuff like that. Like, it was just so many crazy things. And Marlon Brando was like not prepared for his role and didn't read the book and all this other stuff. Anyways, it's a great movie. And funny thing about it is my friend watched a Redux cut first, which is like 3 hours and a half long, and he didn't like it, and he didn't even finish it. And I was like, "What are you talking about? The movie's great." And he's like, "Oh, it got kind of boring." And I was like, "Let me guess, you didn't watch the theatrical version?" He's like, "No, I didn't. How'd you know?" And I was like, "Because stuff like that, where it's theatrical or extended cut or director's cut, I feel like you should watch those after you've seen the theatrical version. Always watch theatrical, then watch those, because I mean, time and time again, I'll watch a director's cut or like a extended version of a movie, and I just won't get it, and then I'll watch a theatrical. I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense now. And someone on some website, because I remember I was actually looking up which one version I should watch first, and they're like, okay, watch the original, then if you're a fan of it, watch the Redux, which is a perfect thing to say. Like, always watch the theatrical first, and if you like it, then watch the director's cut or unrated version or whatever. Just because that's kind of like, man, like I wish, I'm so glad. I feel like that movie would have been ruined if I watched the Redux cut first, because I can't kind of handle a 3.5 hour long movie unless it's like superb. And this movie, I could probably watch it now, but at the time, like my first watch, I didn't know anything about it. I just heard it was good, And I think funny about that is that Francis Ford Coppola has done this. He did like a made for TV version of Godfather, all three of them in chronological order. And this is crazy. It's like an hour. I think it's like 10 hours long, because it's like, or no, it's not 10 hours long. It's like, anyways, it's like super long. Maybe it is 10 hours long. And he aired it on TV for an hour each. I think it was each week for like 5 weeks or something like that, kind of like an actual TV show. And a lot of people are like, oh, watch it that way. It's all in chronological order. And I'm just like, no, watch it the way it originally came out, and then the theatrical version. Then if you like it, then watch the director's cut or whatever, just because there's so many movies that I've seen being ruined to people just because they watched the longer version first. And don't do that unless you've seen it. So it's just for the fans, honestly, if you really like the movie. So I really wanted to say that little rant real quick, because, man, that movie's a masterpiece. And I do not want people to be like, oh, I saw the Redux cut and it was boring. It's like, no, watch the theatrical first. Okay, so next we have Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Like I was just saying, it's my favorite one out of all three. Only have this one on Blu-ray just because the changes he made for the first one, Return of the Jedi, I just hated so much. I'm just going to wait for Disney to finally do something good and just re-release the original trilogy on Blu-ray like he should do, the specialized versions, but kind of doubt that's going to happen. But I really want it to happen. And with the research I did in this one, they actually didn't make that many changes that made a difference. I mean, they don't have a dumbass musical number in the beginning like in Return of the Jedi, so I was fine with it. And then this is my favorite one, so I kind of had to get it. And it was only $11. It was on sale, so, can't go wrong. Next, got Force Awakens. Love it. Thought it was a great movie. I think it's well worthy of being in that kind of Star Wars saga. But I mean, of course, anything can be now just because it was garbage prequels. Which, honestly, in my opinion, I don't even count the prequels anymore. Just because 1, 2, and 3. I mean, if you like them, good for you. But I just cannot. They're insufferable for me. I hate those movies so much. There's nothing positive about it. I mean, there is, but it's so minute, and there's so little things that are positive that it's not even enough to call it a good movie. I mean, take out the name Star Wars and those prequels, and let me tell you, it's a bad opera, like bad sci-fi action opera that would get such low ratings because it's just, God, I don't even want to talk about that. But anyways, I love Force Awakens. The bonus disc is really cool, and yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. It's great. I almost said Star Wars. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. The movie, I liked it, not as much as a lot of people did, but I really still liked it. Now, the main reason I got this is a commentary. It's amazing. If you haven't seen this movie, or if you have seen this movie, get this Blu-ray if you can for the commentary. It's such an interesting and funny commentary. But that's funny. That's the only thing they have on here for special features, and so it's like the main reason why I got it too. Initiation Game, great, true story, loved it. Clockwork Orange, classic Stanley Kubrick movie. Definitely check that out. Argo, I thought it was great, interesting movie. Cool, kind of based off true story. Gangster Squad, I thought it was great when it came out. I don't think it's great as much now, but I mean it's still a fun little action type of movie. Which I mean, I'm a sucker for the LA like in the '60s and '50s and kind of stuff like that. I don't know why, I just love those types of movies. That's why I really liked where was it? What is it called? Private Dicks. I don't know why I said The Nice Guys. That's why I really like The Nice Guys, because it was kind of set in that type of era. Next, Zombieland, great comedy, classic comedy with zombies and stuff like that. 21 Jump Street, I thought it was funny. I thought it was great. 22 Jump Street, that was great too. Pan's Labyrinth, classic fantasy type movie. Definitely check that out. Dazed and Confused, classic comedies, hilarious. Loved it. Hot Tub Time Machine, just run-of-the-mill comedy. Thought it was great. Nothing special, but for some reason it struck a chord with me and I really liked it. Star Trek Beyond, I thought it was good. In my opinion, the Star Trek reboots, I really liked Star Trek. I really liked not Wrath of Khan. I really liked Into Darkness. And then this came out, and I was like, it's not. I didn't like it as much as I liked Wrath of Khan or Into Darkness, because Into Darkness pretty much is Wrath of Khan. So I was kind of let down. But I still thought it was a great movie, though. Next, got Cowboys and Aliens. That was a fun movie. Not a lot of people liked it. Whatever. That was fun. Hot Rod. Great comedy. I loved it. Next, Beavis and Butthead, like the 4th volume. Kind of when they put it back out on TV. That was funny. So just like the original. Very similar. Thought it was great. Workaholics. I got this. I don't really like the show anymore. I haven't seen past season 4. These are like my favorite seasons for sure, season 1 and 2. So next, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I love this movie. I don't like Cloverfield in general, and when I heard this, I was like, I don't care about Cloverfield. I don't want to watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. Then I saw the trailer, and it was just like, what the hell's going on? Like thought it was like a family like stuck underground. She's trying to escape. I was like, what? The trailer was just made so well. I was like, oh my god, I gotta see it, and I loved it. Thought it was great. Definitely check that out. Next, got Jurassic World. Thought it was great. I'm not really that big into Jurassic Park, especially the second one and third one. I just did not like at all. The first one was good, the first one's a classic. When they made this, I was kind of like, I don't care, I don't want to see it. And my friend begged me to see it, so I saw it with him. I thought it was, fun. Like I didn't have any problems with it. Thought it was just an entertaining movie. Like I love Chris Pratt. Check it out if you haven't already. It's great. Next, we got Mission Impossible, which I'm gonna get the box set soon, but they always make one. So you kind of don't want to do that when they're going to make another one, because I'm pretty sure they're going to make another one, but love Ghost Nation, love Ghost Protocol. Oh, Rogue Nation. They're both great action flicks, like you can't go wrong, Kind of like James Bond, but James Bond's more of a serious kind of movie. I had the trilogy, but I don't know what happened to the first one, but I liked Resident Evil. They're not bad good movies. I mean, they're good movies in my opinion, but they're nothing special, but you already knew that, But, yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked Resident Evil. I didn't really like Afterlife or the ones after, like Retribution, Afterlife, and I think there's another one. I don't remember what they're called. And there's literally one in theaters right now, or it's about to be in theaters in like a couple months, called The Final Chapter. And I'll probably check it out just because I've already seen all of them. And I just got to close that chapter in my life, Even though I don't really care that much, but Evil Dead 1, and then the remake. The remake got a lot of flack. I thought it was fine. I didn't have any problems with it. And I have seen Evil Dead 1 and 2 and Army of Darkness. I liked all of it. And I liked the remake just because it was so gory and entertaining. I don't know, just nothing. I don't know. A lot of people didn't like it, but hey, here's a new look on it. I thought it was great. Next, Platoon, great war movie. Nothing much to say about that. Shooter, great class. I don't know if it's a classic, but it's a great. I might say it's a classic. It was a great, entertaining movie. I loved it. Cool little story. Crazy's not very good. Horror movie was okay. I kind of think I liked it because it was kind of like a kind of like a virus thing that turned people crazy. Next, you got the Alien trilogy. I don't count Alien Resurrection in the Alien movies. That's like the prequel to me. It's like that doesn't count. So yeah, Aliens, and Alien 3. Aliens like one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Aliens is a great colonial. What is it called? Marines type of movie. And Alien 3, like I was saying before, I have mixed feelings about it, but at the end of the day, I liked it. But I just find it baffling that a lot of people think that that's their favorite. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're crazy. But hey, if you like it, you like it. Good for you. I'm not gonna hate for what you like. You know, like just I mean, I like a lot of stuff that people are like, what, you like that? You know. So yeah, Colombiana, it's okay. I mean, I bought this when I was younger. Same thing with Battle Los Angeles. They're okay, I guess. So we're just gonna move on because I've got those when I was a kid. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I like this little box kind of thing. Not a box set, but I mean, it was only like $10, and it's both movies. I was like, well, you can't go wrong. First one's great. Second one, I didn't like as much. Kind of a letdown. And I'm not gonna talk about that remake with all the female cast. All I will say is I hate Melissa McCarthy, and I've always hated her, and everything she's in is just the worst thing ever. And that's the only reason why I didn't see it, literally because of her, and because the trailer was really stupid. But I mean, I don't really care about Ghostbusters in general. Like, even if they made a remake without her and it was just different cast, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna see it. I don't really care. Like, it's not the 80s anymore, and I never was that huge of a fan in the beginning. So, sorry guys. Next, got the James Bond, Daniel Craig edition, where I got Quantum of Solace, which wasn't that good. Casino Royale, which I love. Skyfall is probably my favorite one, and Spectre probably my second favorite. For me, it goes Skyfall is my favorite. Then it goes a tie between Casino Royale and Spectre, and then of course, obviously, Quantum of Solace is at the end of the list, just because the way it was edited and the way it was like made, it was just so. It was something, I don't know, I didn't like it. It was just like fast paced, and other than that, the story was fine. You know, nothing wrong with the story. Just the way it was edited was completely ruined. It was like an hour and a half, and usually these movies are like 2 hours. Oh, this isn't that. But anyways, yeah, that was great. I love Skyfall, by the way. Great. Kind of, it's funny, Skyfall got me back into the James Bond things. I never really cared for it when I was a kid. And I mean, they made so many, and I was just like, where do I start? And then I want to, give the effort. Now we got Fast and Furious 1 and 2. I like the Fast and the Furious. I think they're great. I mean, they're not special. I like 1, 2. I didn't like Tokyo Drift. I liked the 4th one. The 5th one was really boring. The 6th one was okay. The 7th one was probably my favorite. Now they're making an 8. And in my opinion, this is just like Call of Duty, where it's like, oh, it's fun for how long it's out. Then it's like, get rid of it. Do another one. Oh. Nothing special. Just a fun kind of action racing kind of movie. Don't think too much. Just have fun. Kind of like that. I don't know. I had a good time with these movies. They're not special. They're just fun, mindless fun. And with 8 coming out, I saw the trailer for 8, and I kind of don't actually care about it. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but whatever. I don't really want to talk about that. Got the Da Vinci Code. I love this movie. In my opinion, this is like national treasure for grown-ups, just because I feel like kids can't really get into this, just what it's based off of and things like that. But I thought it was a great movie. Definitely check that out. Tron Legacy, a lot of people didn't like that. I thought it was pretty good. It's definitely paced slowly. Should have been cut down to like 90 minutes, and it's like 2 hours, I think. But hey, I mean, I thought it was fun. Like, oh wait, holy crap! Oh, never mind. I thought it said 2 hours and a half, which I could not believe. But no, it's just 2 hours. But yeah, I love the soundtrack that Daft Punk did. That's like the main reason I think why I liked it so much, because I love Daft Punk. Next got Super 8. If I remember right, someone told me this was like the Goonies for like nowadays, and I highly agree. It's such a great movie, very entertaining, about a group of kids that just stuff happens in their town. I love that little town kind of look, especially in the 80s. I think this was the 80s. Yeah, something to do with, it was either the 80s or 70s. But I love that kind of old era in a small little town. That's like my favorite thing. Rush Hour. I like the second one better. I haven't seen the third one. I don't know if there's any more after that, but I like Rush Hour. Can't go wrong. Takers. Thought it was a fun movie. Nothing special, just a good cop / bank robbery movie, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods is my favorite Dragon Ball Z movie. And they only made a couple, like mainstream ones, like Resurrection F and stuff like that. This is definitely my favorite. I don't know why, but something about this movie that I could just turn on and watch and just be entertained, just because the way it was just written, I guess. And like the animation is really cool. Next we got, I haven't seen this, but I don't know if I'll ever will. I'm not a huge fan of Batman. It has to be something that was really great of Batman, kind of like the Christopher Nolan trilogy, to get me into it. But like cartoon-wise, I'm not a big cartoon person, or anime, I guess. I don't know if this would be considered anime, but haven't seen it. Probably will never see it in my life. Yeah, I like Batman as a comic book character, but next we got the horrendous Ghost Rider. This is like one of the first Blu-rays I bought because I loved it when I was a kid. I hate it now, and the sequel is garbage. So that is it. That's the end of my video. Wow, this is only 44 minutes. I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of scared though that the video is going to cut out any second, just because that's what happened last time. But anyways, thanks guys for watching. If you have any thoughts, always comment it, like, rate. You can't rate anymore. I forgot this is not like 2007. But just like my video. If you click the like button if you liked it. Hope you guys have a great day. And for sure, there's going to be another 2017 list. Actually, by the way, the weird thing about this is how I'm uploading this. I'm assuming this is probably actually going to be released in 2017, early 2017, because I've been busy. But I will have a 2017. Oh crap, list probably near the end of 2017, just because that's how I'm doing with this one, and because I always buy Blu-rays like I was saying every Black Friday, and I also just always buy Blu-rays in general, so I never know when I'm grow the list or grow the collection. I don't want it to be like kind of ruined, or it's like, oh, there was movies I got in 2017 I didn't show, kind of stuff like that. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna try to make more videos in general, just because I love this channel. I haven't made videos in a while. So there's a collection. Look at a wide shot of that. Not much right now. Well, to some collections I've seen, it's not much, but definitely growing it. Next, I'll probably do like a CD collection, maybe vinyl collection. But yeah, thanks for watching, and wow, 45 minutes is great. Have a good day.